Hi guys, Allie here, and Avery's with me right now too in this one. So this weekend, going on yesterday and today, the Disney 23 Expo, that's what I want to talk about in this video. There's a lot of footage, news, upcoming things, pictures and 3D models of all kinds of stuff came out in the Disney 23 Expo yesterday and today. To be honest, I don't know if it's tomorrow also. I think it might be. But there's been a lot of stuff. I've been trying to follow it as closely as I can on Twitter yesterday and today. And so I made a list so I wouldn't forget certain things I want to talk about. Of course, Violet had to get in on the action. So I made a list of stuff I wanted to talk about that I'm excited about, looking forward to, that was released at the Disney 23 Expo. So I'm going to start off. I keep looking over there because I made a list, so I'm looking at the list. So they released a lineup of all the movies they have planned to release this year, 2018 and 2019. And so we have a lot of movies coming up. We have Thor Ragnarok. We have this couple Star Wars movies, The Last Jedi, and another Star Wars movie, The Star Wars Story, I think it's called, Star Wars Story. A movie called Coco. I believe that's an animated movie. We have, of course, The Incredibles 2, The Incredibles sequel finally coming out next year. A lot of Marvel movies, of course. Okay, I already said Thor. We have Black Panther coming up next year in February. We have, of course, the two Avengers Infinity War movies coming out. What am I missing? And then we have like the live adaptations of a lot of the animated movies. So we have Lion King. I'm gonna talk about that right now. Mulan. We just a lot of movies coming out. So first movie I want to talk about is The Lion King, and it's funny because my son recently got addicted to this movie. First it was Finding Dory and Finding Nemo. Right now it's The Lion King. He's been watching it like past 2 weeks nonstop. My husband and I were talking about it a lot recently because we're like thinking this is going to be a hard movie to do a live action adaptation of, and they have to get the CG right, and what I was hoping is that they stick to the original story, and of course there will be things that are different, but for the most part I just really hope they stick to the original, kind of like how Beauty and the Beast was pretty much just an exact copy almost of the animated version. I was super excited about that. That's what I'm hoping to see in The Lion King, and up until now I haven't really heard much about it, so I was excited about what was released at the Expo today, and that is that they released, I guess, footage of The Lion King live action. And I guess the footage was the recreation of the Circle of Life opening sequence from the animated version. So, the sunrise, the famous song, Circle of Life, Rafiki the monkey, the baboon holding up Simba. So apparently that was the footage that was released from the live action, the recreation of that scene. And I wish I could have seen that, because that sounds awesome to see in a live action version. Of course, the CG and all that is in the very, very early stages, because this movie doesn't come out to 2019. So, but it still would have been exciting to see it, and maybe that footage will get released like soon. I'm not sure, but hopefully, because I would like to see it. So that for me was like a good sign of what I was saying a minute ago about how I hope The Lion King live action is just a live action version of the animated instead of taking it a whole different way. So that was a good sign that they're hopefully going to stick to what we love as from the classic animated film. And so Lion King set to be released in 2019. The cast for that we know of so far, that I know of so far, is James Earl Jones returning as Mufasa. That's awesome. Donald Glover is going to be Simba. He's also known as Childish Gambino, but Donald Glover. Hugh Jackman, found out at the expo, it was going to be Scar, so that's interesting. And I think this is just the most perfect casting. John Oliver recently got confirmed to be Zazu, the bird in Lion King. So for those of you who know who John Oliver is, my husband and I actually watch him all the time, which is funny, but for those of you who know who he is, that's just, I think, beyond perfect. If you don't know who he is, look him up, watch some of his stuff, and you'll see that he's like the perfect person to be cast as Zazu. And so I'm excited about that. Next up, Aladdin cast was finally confirmed today at the expo. The past couple days before this was confirmed at the expo today was that Disney was actually having a hard time finding someone to play Aladdin, because they, according to these rumors that were coming out, they were having a hard time finding someone who looked the part, and who could sing, dance, act. So, you know, we forget sometimes that making these live action versions of the animated movies that we love, you know, all these Disney classics, most of them are like musicals, and that's easy to do an animated version because you can make them do whatever you want. But, you know, live action, it's different. It has to be someone that can perform all those roles and do them well. So, excuse me. They finally confirmed cast today at the expo. I think the only one that we'd heard of that was kind of rumored was Will Smith as the genie, and that was confirmed today. Will Smith will portray the genie in the live action Aladdin. For Aladdin himself, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but Mena Massoud or Mina Massoud, I don't know if it's Mena or Mina, but when I looked him up, I recognized him, but I couldn't quite remember where from. So he looks familiar. He looks the part for Aladdin. As far as acting and singing, I can't really attest to that because I don't know too much about him, but I trust Disney in their casting so far. And for Jasmine, it's actually Naomi Scott. For those of you who might not recognize her name right away, she played in Power Rangers that recently came out. She's the pink Power Ranger, I believe. So she's gonna be playing Jasmine. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that because the acting in Power Rangers was sort of but it was Power Rangers, so I'm not gonna try to carry that thought over into Aladdin because that's totally different. But so those were the people confirmed for Aladdin. Aladdin now was not, if I remember right, I don't think it was included on the lineup for the movies that they have coming out over the next couple years. So I don't think that one has an official release date or official release year as of yet. So as far as I know, Aladdin does not have an official release date or even year, I don't think, right now, because the ones on the lineup are ones that are like going to come out that year so far. So we'll see where that one goes. But now that we have at least the main characters confirmed, you know, maybe things will be getting a little going more smoothly now with that movie. We'll see. The next one I was excited to see and hear about was Incredibles 2. It's been like 1,000 years since the first one came out. So they kind of did it how they did with Finding Nemo, how Finding Dory came out like years later. But, you know, that one wasn't like, at the end of Finding Nemo, you weren't expecting a sequel, really. I didn't think so. But at the end of Incredibles, you were expecting a sequel because of the new villain that comes up out of the ground at the end of the movie. And they put on their suits and everything. And so, you know, it's kind of disappointing that it took so long for them to come out with a sequel, and it's still not even until next year. But I guess hopefully it'll be worth the wait. You know, now that they have even newer, more advanced technology and all that, maybe it's gonna look even better than it would if it had come out, you know, soon after the first one. So, according to everything I saw that was being posted on Twitter and stuff about the expo, they showed footage of Jack, which is the baby, using a bunch of his powers and abilities, which we only see a little bit at the end of the first one. So, I guess they show him using a bunch of his abilities, and Mr. Incredible, the dad, he's excited and everything, and Jack apparently fights a raccoon. So I'm sure that was entertaining to see at the expo and exciting to see. Also, what they said about that movie is that there's supposed to be like a lot of superheroes, a lot of characters in The Incredibles 2 sequel. So we'll see how that goes. That sounds exciting. That sounds interesting. Also, this one, Incredibles 2, does not take place in, I guess you would say, real time. So it picks up right after where the last movie left off. So they're still going to be, you know, kids and everything. They're not going to be like 15, 14 years older because it's been that long since the first one came out. So it's picking up where the last movie left off, which is kind of a recent thing that was released also about it, because I don't think many people were sure about the setting as far as when it was going to take place. But now we know it's picking up where the first movie left off, which I think is probably better because I think that's probably better because, you know, they're incredible. They're a superhero family, so I think it's more appropriate if the kids are still kids in the next movie instead of, because if they actually portrayed them as, you know, all this time has passed and now we're making another one and they're all older and grown up, I mean, you know, Jack would still be like a teenager or young teenager, but the other kids would be older, and so I don't think it would work as well if they're supposed to be a superhero family. Then the parents would be a lot older too. So I think that's a better way to go because the kids would be a lot older. Jack would still be like a teenager, young teenager, but the other two kids would be older, the parents would be a lot older. So for them to be, if you know, a superhero family, I think it just works better if the kids are still kids, if they pick up where the last movie left off and they're all just kind of the same as they were before. I think that's the right way to go for that. So the next one I wrote down is they released a big statue, I guess you would say, of Thanos, how he's gonna, so people can get an idea of how he's gonna look in the Infinity War movies. So people got to see that, saw some pictures of that. He looks like he would expect him to look, I guess. I don't see any change, like major changes to where you wouldn't think it's Thanos, so it still looks like Thanos to me. Also, Mary Poppins. We know that Emily Blunt is playing Mary Poppins in the remake. I don't know what else they released about Mary Poppins, but I kind of saw just like a little clip of Emily Blunt like putting the umbrella behind her and you see her as Mary Poppins. I don't know. I don't know yet how I feel about Mary Poppins being remade. I just think it's always risky to remake really classic movies that are pretty much everyone loves. And it's just, I don't know, it's hard to, I think when any studio, any production studio, whether it's Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, whoever, whenever people remake like a really classic movie that is so universally loved, I just think it's always hard because people are going to have extremely high expectations because of how much they like the first one, the original one. So I'm excited. Like maybe when more footage or trailers or clips or teaser trailers come out, then maybe it'll kind of make me feel a little bit more one way or the other about it. So kind of have to wait and see when they release more about it. Yeah, so I might have more of like a definitive opinion or about Mary Poppins when we get to see more about it. Maybe like teaser trailers, you know, little clips, footage, anything like that. I might have better opinion about, you know, if I think it's gonna be, well, I'm sure it's gonna be good. I don't doubt that. I've always been a huge Disney fan, but, and also I hope Emily Blunt is the right casting for that. I wasn't extremely excited when I saw that she was going to be Mary Poppins in the remake, but like I said, I'm not gonna make, you know, I'm not gonna jump to conclusions about how she's gonna do as Mary Poppins, because a lot of times when that happens in these movies where people are cast as characters that have already been done before, a lot of times people are wrong. They underestimate them. It happened with Heath Ledger as the Joker. It happened with Ben Affleck as Batman, which is still kind of divisive, I guess. But, you know, a lot of people admitted that they underestimated how well he would do as Batman, no matter how they felt about it, about the movie. I think the same thing has happened with Ezra Miller as the Flash, and so kind of getting off track, but just trying to make my point there. I'm not going to jump to conclusions about how Emily Blunt will do as Mary Poppins, because I don't really know yet. I think maybe that feeling of doubt I have is just coming from other movies I've seen her in. She plays usually like action and stuff like that, so. But I love Mary Poppins. I just hope that they do a good job in remaking it. Like I said, I just think it's always risky when they do classic, remakes of classics, and people are gonna have high expectations. And looking forward also to the Mulan live action. Love that movie. Still love it probably as much as I did as a kid when it came out. So that was on the lineup for 2019. I think it got pushed back. I think it was actually supposed to come out sooner than that. If I could be wrong, but I think so. So it's not, movies get pushed back all the time. It's not really a new thing that happens in the movies or anything. So looking forward to that. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff going on at the Disney 23 Expo. Obviously, I wasn't there, so didn't get to see this stuff for myself. I was just trying to follow as closely as I could on social media and stuff like that for people that either were there or people that are getting information quickly about what was going on, what was being released. There was also like a 3D model of Star Wars Land, which looked pretty cool. So I'm sure a lot of people were excited about that. Star Wars has a huge fan base. So that looked pretty cool in the little clips and pictures that I saw online, and there was a lot of stuff. So like I said, I didn't, wasn't able, of course, not to cover everything that came out. I just wanted to talk about some of the things that I was most excited about, things I'm looking forward to. And so it's pretty exciting to see and hear about all these things. Hopefully some of the footage that was talked about, that was released, will get released to the public soon. Hopefully, because I really want to see some of that stuff. So, so that's what I've been keeping up with yesterday and today. Like I said, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's tomorrow. It might be. I can't remember what I saw about that. But if there is more stuff that gets released at the Disney 23 Expo, if it is tomorrow, I will. If it's stuff that I think is worth making a video about, I'll make another video about that stuff. If not, try to make a video about something else that's going on in the movie world. So if you're keeping up with the Disney 23 Expo, or seeing stuff that was coming out at the Disney 23 Expo, let me know what you're looking forward to. Let me know what you think about the movies and the stuff that I talked about. Again, talked about Lion King, Aladdin, Infinity War, Mary Poppins, sort of, a little bit, Incredibles 2. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you're looking forward to, what you think you might not be looking forward to as much. Do you think they should do these classic remakes? How do you think the live action adaptations are going to come out? I think Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella were awesome. I wasn't as crazy about Tarzan. I didn't like how they changed the whole story, but that could be a whole nother video in and of itself. So let me know what you think about that whole thing going on with the Disney 23 Expo, and I'll see you in the next video.